In 1945, the guns finally fell silent across Europe. Millions lay dead, and entire nations were reduced to rubble. Yet, stepping out into the ash, people believed the worst was behind them. For the first time in 6 years, there was a genuine global consensus. The conflict had reached its absolute end. Peace had returned. That peace seemed undeniable looking at the streets of defeated, occupied Germany. American GIs stood on the corners, smoking cigarettes, their mission complete. But the ink on the surrender documents was barely dry before a completely different kind of conflict started. While the public celebrated, military intelligence was already mobilizing. The United States and the Soviet Union immediately shifted from allies to adversaries. They were already looking for the upper hand in the inevitable standoff. Germany's highly advanced scientific community and the terrifying weaponry they had designed became the primary objective for both intelligence agencies. The calculations were simple. Whichever nation absorbed these engineering minds would control the airspace, the stratosphere, and eventually the globe. This sparked a frantic scramble. American and Soviet agents flooded divided Germany, racing to extract high-value targets first. As scientists were funneled out of hidden laboratories, wartime Germany's technological supremacy evaporated, absorbed directly into Washington and Moscow. United States military authorized a highly classified initiative. They called it Operation Paperclip. Over the following months and years, hundreds of German scientists, engineers, and technicians were quietly ferried across the Atlantic and relocated to military bases across the United States. They completely bypassed the standard immigration system. State Department regulations were actively circumvented by military brass to ensure the American public remained entirely unaware of their arrival. While the nation threw ticker-tape parades to celebrate the defeat of the Axis powers, its government was quietly handing government salaries and security clearances to the enemy's brightest minds. These newly imported scientists were immediately put to work inside highly funded, classified laboratories. They accelerated American programs in aviation, guided missiles, and aerospace medicine. But their most critical output was in propulsion. The very engineers who had terrorized London with ballistic missiles were now building the massive liquid-fueled rockets required to outpace the Soviet Union. Those early rocket tests directly laid the foundation for America's orbital defense network and eventually the entire Apollo space program. Operation Paperclip delivered exactly what the military generals had promised. It successfully secured the technological high ground for the United States for the rest of the Cold War. For decades, the true cost of that high ground remained locked in government vaults. It was only when these classified records began opening up to historians that the public saw the full picture. The files confirmed a dark reality. A significant number of the recruited experts were not passive citizens, but active, dedicated members of the Nazi regime. American intelligence officers knew this at the time. To get around strict post-war laws prohibiting the entry of active Nazis, officials systematically falsified the scientists' personnel files, erasing their political histories and wartime affiliations. The men drafting the blueprints for America's future space supremacy were the exact same individuals who had engineered the former enemy's war machine. That revelation continues to divide historians today. Supporters of the operation maintain that it was a harsh necessity. In their view, keeping those scientific assets out of Soviet hands protected the free world from a far more immediate threat. Critics argue that no technological gain can offset the ethical damage. By granting safe haven and prestigious careers to individuals complicit in a brutal regime, the United States permanently compromised its moral authority. Operation Paperclip stands as a stark example of Cold War calculus. It leaves us with an uncomfortable question. Did the absolute necessity of strategic survival justify protecting the very people we had just fought to defeat?